Greetings, greetings, greetings. This is Revere Sky's Essence, Intuitive Tarot Reader. How do y'all feel right now? What's going on? The reason why I ask because I've been getting so many visions, so many premonitions, to the point where I don't really want a vision because it seems like it happens instantaneously. You know what I mean? It's like definitely avoid sugar because if you start feeling a certain way, you know, you're so used to premonitions happening, visions happening instantaneously. You you want to stay aware and focused, and you don't want to think toxic thoughts because you're so used to your images in your brain happening and playing out that if you get on a toxic level of thinking, some people may call it paranoia or being close to your surroundings, like you don't want that type of stuff running through your mind because you're so used to images playing out and coming to life, right? So let's talk about it a second. I woke up the other morning and something said, I remember the dream I had. Something said, you beat the devil. So I was in this shop and there was this guy with me and he had put in this big order on a bunch of novelty crystals, different characters, faces, features. And I looked at him, I was like, no, just give him one of each because I was paying for it, but he had his own money. Weird story, weird dream. And then I went over by this white girl at a computer and a desk, and she had this reusable shopping bag. And she was counting all her pieces as if she lost one. And I had like this jaded dragon, it was blue or green, in my hand. And after she got done counting everything, I set it on the table. And I physically woke up from the dream and something said, you beat the devil. And it said, lacerts and rubies. See, whenever I'm dreaming or whenever I'm in another world, whether that be a man-made construct or actually gone to another realm, something about these realms or these dreams know that they have like a few milliseconds to get out a message to me before I forget everything, okay? So that's what they do. So they got that through. You beat the devil, lacerts, and rubies. So I did a bunch of research. Lacerts deal with scarlet. All this is based around red. Lizards, lacerts, lacerta. Lacert means lizard, okay? Um, Dragon, everything was based around red lizards and dragons, pretty much. Scarlet, compassion, drive, um, leadership. And something, me looking up all this stuff, something said, whatever you do, don't fear change. It also dealt with good luck and fortune. And it said, something like you may be skeptical about these changes. You maybe can feel more in depth and more in tune, and you may show slight signs of fear or something. But don't fear change. Don't fear new, this new beginning, this new difference, this new power, right? So something said, you said 3 months ago that you wanted to listen to Lacerta again. Lacerta is like a 2 hour long a narrative about a Swedish guy and a reptilian talking in a remote location. And there's 2 interviews. And something said, really take your time and listen to her again, because you're going to listen to her with new eyes and new ears and a new heart. Listen to her again. Listen to the questions. Pay attention. Listen with new eyes, new ears, new everything. So I'm listening. And she talks about so much. I've heard all this before, but I digested it different this time. She talked about how we were primitive people and our God, because on a religious basis, the Elohim came and changed our DNA structure. Not only that, when it comes down to our ancestors, the Elohim, we're like the 5th and 6th and 7th generation of the Elohim creation. She also said they killed off the first 5 generations. I think they were too smart, too intelligent. She also said that the paintings and the drawings, she said that the Egyptians were the 5th gen. She said the Egyptians built those pyramids about 7,000 years ago, 7,500 years ago. This was back in 1999. So when we look at the Egyptians as like these really, really ancient people, they're not. It just happened. She said that we are about the 7th generation of people. So it's something about when the Elohim see that we still have miraculous. See, the Elohim are the type that don't want us using the godly energy. So let's just say we were primitive and we did get spliced. Our genetics got spliced. We got pure organic genetics. What I mean is we still need alkaline foods. We still need alkaline herbs. You know what I mean? We still need a non-toxic, man-made radiation environment. Okay? The whole thing is about avoiding man-made radiation. I'm not talking about natural radiation like the sun. I'm not talking about avoiding the magnetic field of the planet. Okay? None of that. I mean man-made radiation. We're supposed to avoid it. Now, she goes into detail about the Elohim and how we were primitive. She even talks about how they got into a war with the Elohim. They said first the Elohim was good until they find out that they was trying to mine and take the resources. For some reason, the Elohim, even though they say that they are terrestrial, her species is terrestrial. Even though she say that they are terrestrial, she said that we're terrestrial too to certain degrees, but we also have different DNA from universal people from our universe, not just solar system, from our universe. They're from our bubble. They're not from another bubble. They're actually from our bubble. So whatever level of vibration you are, they still came from this bubble. They didn't teleport from another bubble. Okay? And it's funny how her story is, and the reason why I say her story, because I believe, you know what I mean? Like, I believe in other creatures. I believe in the mermaids. I believe in higher dimensional beings, lower dimensional beings, land spirits, you name it, right? I know for a fact that they got big butterflies and big ropes flying in the sky. And once they seen that I can see it in Texas, they doubled down on the stuff they were spraying in the sky. I seen some of the biggest phenomenal thin veil. I mean, it was a thin veil. They were showing through a thin veil these otherworldly beings, and that's when I had to take a break from driving trucks because I could see everything. Remember, I told y'all you don't want to detox and clean your system and meditate to a level where you cannot perceive this low vibratory world from another world, that other beings will start to be in your reality. I said this for a reason. There was a phase of my life where I could not drive because I was seeing a mix of two worlds. Nobody knew this, you know, nobody knew this, but literally another world, I was shifting to another world. This is why they bled the planet and had the biggest oil spill ever, to change the vibration of the planet so that we wouldn't be able to see a shift. Lacerta said a few more things that's very important, but I had to get that out, so I done kind of lost track. Another thing, I was close by some woods. It's a beautiful state park. Uh, New Mexico coming down into Arizona. It's a beautiful state park. And I was collecting some um, the fuzzy green thing that people smoke or make tea for their lungs, mullein. It was a guy across the street in an 18-wheeler. I'm at this park and I'm collecting all this beautiful mullein, rich mullein. It was on red dirt, clay type dirt, remind me of Georgia. and this area was wooded. And before I know it, or before I knew it, my head kept going back and forth like something out there was moving faster than me and getting closer to me. This thing was moving so fast. I couldn't see it, but I could feel it. And I said, wait a minute. How I go from picking mullein to moving my eyes, my head back and forth like something's moving around me. Like it was so creepy. Like my heart dropped. Like this thing was getting closer and closer and moving and moving. Like it couldn't believe I was there. It was so used to probably seeing white people in cabins. This thing could not believe I was there. So I had to cut my mullein adventure short because this thing, I couldn't relax. Whatever this thing was, it had me looking in the woods. It was broad daylight though. It had me looking in the woods, scanning the woods because it was overpowering me. I was like, what is it? It had me looking at the woods like a scary movie. The thing would not stop moving. And this is why I say a lot of people really ain't tapped in. When you get these neurons and these arteries and veins and these glands that were dormant or calcified or just atrophied. They were atrophied. They shriveled up. They they the people tried to poison them before you can actually use them. When these little glands and arteries and stuff crank up, man, it's a whole nother light. So this is the subject. I almost forgot. This is the subject. The searchers spoke about occultism, witchcraft. She said it's nothing but a slow. I'm not saying it verbatim to what she said. I'm saying it's a way that you can relate. She said it's nothing but a slow version of science. Science that cannot be understood. So, nothing's wrong with magic, sorcery, witchcraft. Let me explain something to you. What I understood and understood from what she said is totally different now. So, when she mentioned this 2 or 3 times, that magic is nothing but science, this is what I understood. She kept telling people, you got to understand the bubbles. She said, when you understand your bubble, you understand your universe, and then you understand the omniverse. So, what I gather from this is do your magic. You know, when you light a candle and you have intent, you, I want to say circumvent, I don't know why, but you start conjuring up your own energy. You start bringing in streams of source, meaning even the Elohim, the Anunnaki, whoever, whatever spliced you and gave you their DNA, you start working with that magic. You start working with the resources. So when you light that candle, you burn that sage, you say them affirmations, you do that chant, you do that meditation, you do that spiritual ritual, you tap into that energy. That's science. See, she always talk about how you can levitate things. You can move things with your mind. You have to know how to move things with your mind. So, magic, burning candles and incense and sage and chanting and sigils is nothing but you connecting with those tools and changing your reality, changing your space and time. See, because we don't know that we can just do it, we utilize tools. Let me tell you something what that is. Let me explain what that is. That's magic. See, the rules you have to go by dealing with a society of people that don't want you doing magic, that don't want you to know that you got supernatural powers, right? So, a person could call me for a tarot reading. Now, if I'm intuitive and I'm psychic, I can't let this person know that. It's forbidden. On so many degrees, it's forbidden. So, what does a magician have to do? A magician has to use tarot cards. You have to be like a trickster. You have to say, wait a minute. I use the cards as a tool to tell you what you need. You'll never say, this is what I see out of my own mind. You'll never show that you're able to use your mind and use your data and use your frequency to gather the information and bring it back. It's somewhat forbidden. That's like a magician who's dealing with cards and tricks and stuff. Let's say if he is using time and space to change his clothes or to remove the salt from the hand and bring the salt back with time and space. He can't show you that. He's not allowed. With the beings that run this world right now and oppress us, it's forbidden to show these type of things. So you have to show, you only can show it as a trick. Even though you're actually going into time and space and bringing this information back, whether that be a physical trick or through your mind, it's forbidden to actually be a 100% psychic. It's forbidden to be a true magician where you're doing a whole bunch of stuff that cannot be mimicked by a physical trick or concept. Okay? That's what jinns do. Jinns get in people's bodies and start doing all types of tricks that cannot be replicated by a regular human. It takes forces and time and space to replicate what you're seeing. Okay? That's why they really want a psychic or a tarot reader to use cards, even though the psychic is going to change space and time to get the information. You have to feel like she's reading those cards at all times. Okay? If she brings up something of your past about your grandma or something and it's real, you have to believe that she got that from the cards. That's how it works. Because at some degree and some level, identifying with other space, realm, and time, don't communicate with nobody for real from another space, realm, and time. And the world able to see it, somebody's gonna come knocking. Okay, so she helped me realize that nothing's wrong with magic and nothing's wrong with using the tools to amplify your energy so you can shift space and time. It's all science. Just like she said, she's not able to teleport where, like, you're solid, then you go through quantum space and time. She said, I'm not able to do that without technology. She said, but there are beings that visit this planet that can just disappear like that without technology. And I think the Elohim device on their arm, she doesn't talk about this. This is me being a historian or a scholar. I think the Elohim, the thing on their arm is what their device to come and go. Another thing I want you to know is she had me reflect on the Elohim and them trying to slowly make us degenerative. So they want us to be godlike, right? But they don't want us to have the the features, the magical features, the scientific features. They don't want us to be able to quantum leap, quantum jump. They're forever they're forever altering our DNA. Whether, like, I think they are a part of the problem when it comes down to the air, the food, and everything. I think they are trying to they learn that you can only do so much splicing of DNA in a lab. You have to alter a person's DNA through consumption. Okay. So back in the day, about 4 or 5 years ago, I said I meditated so much and I opened up a wormhole. I opened up a portal that had these little digibobby string things come through, and they was touching me all over. They came through and they built my seed of life. They built my flower of life. It's a video I hid called uh Fibonacci Circle in Seal Beach. I hid that video. After that video, after me making that video, somebody broke into my car. They stole my laptop. They stole my camera, my camera battery. They they totaled out my car. They they broke the they broke the steering column. They had to total the insurance company had to total my car out. Not only that, I tried to order the battery and the man said we don't have that battery no more. That was a brand new camera. It should have been batteries all over the internet for that camera. The man said we don't have that battery no more, but we got another one that's equivalent to it, and mailed me a battery. I lost like $50 in shipping and the battery. And then I called back. I said this battery don't work and you know it didn't work. You need to give me my money back. But at that time I wasn't thinking that I could have canceled the service with the credit card company. I was on a whole nother mission then. Like, I probably was barely in the physical. My mind was somewhere else. And it made me think about the guy on TikTok that got shut down, that heard the sirens in the water. The same way I opened up that portal and a voice kept telling me to go to Seal Beach to see what I saw and to video it and to take pictures. And all of a sudden, everything around me started crashing, like, down on me. My car got, all that happened to my car, my laptop, and everything. Let me tell you something. It's real out here. When you tap into them other dimensions and they know it, like that time I said long, long time ago I did shrooms. And when I did shrooms, I tapped into another realm so heavy that they kept sending the black ops around me. It was just jet black helicopters. They would not stop having those helicopters come around me because I was on another dimension and I wasn't supposed to be there. I was supposed to be dumbed down. So I talk in an older video about the Elohim or the Anunnaki coming down as light beings, pulling my green string. So they was like, bump it. We're going to go in this vibrational realm or this layer of our existence. And we're going to try to pull the string from her because she doesn't have any business having access to those realms anyway. Like, we could still be born having access to these realms. And they'll alter you and modify you just like that. Another thing Lacerda said real quick was there's a group of beings that are so powerful that their thoughts can just make this world disappear. You move by mind. And I activated my mind to such a degree quantumly that they had to start removing, like your soul, like they say your soul is in another paradigm, another dimension. It's like they had to go alter that energy so that I wouldn't have access to it. Does that make sense? That's just like coding a computer. You don't want it to run certain prompts, so you get rid of that. You cut those codes off. You change all of that. You get what I'm saying? You change the command for those prompts so that it skips that stuff. It doesn't give you access to it anymore. You know what I mean? You have permissions. So it's like the Elohim or the Anunnaki came down, these light beings, and changed my permissions so that I wouldn't be able to access that energy. Because just imagine if I would have opened up another portal. Like, I literally, when I say I phoned home, I phoned home. And it was a threat to a lot of people by me phoning home. Okay? So understand this, magic is real. It's a low level of science. So if you have to use magic to start pulling information with your mind, do it. It's not what you think. It's only science. Now that is one thing that Lacerta really, really showed me. I have this card I'm going to post. It's a temptation card, Mermaid in the Water. When I heard Lacerts and Rubies, you beat the devil, that card kept showing up. Like, these beings can speak to me and stuff, but you have to avoid temptation and shiny things. You know, that's just like wanting to win the lottery or wanting to be a millionaire or billionaire. It comes with a price. That's a shiny thing. There's a such thing as the lottery killers. You know, they know who you are, like the people at the lottery center or something. Give you up, let them know who you are. Somehow they end up getting the money back before you can even spend the money, you know. It's just something to think about. Right now we have to avoid temptation. We really have to avoid temptation because just like you can see shiny things out the corner of your eye and you're curious to know what it is, so you do more magic to make it appear. But sometimes you just need to avoid those things until you learn to protect yourself. Another thing Lacerda said was, Our mind was not designed to protect itself. They left us open and acceptable to intrusion, being controlled, being manipulated, mentally and physically, spiritually, too. I think that's all I'm going to say for right now. All I know is mind over matter. You can open up many portals and gateways, but first you have to open up your neurons and you have to crank up those atrophied glands, those atrophied organs, those atrophied arteries. You got to crank them up. So there we have it. Unearth the magic. The truth will definitely set you free.